CARE has been working in India for over 60 years, focusing on ending poverty and social injustice. We are part of the CARE International Confederation, working in 87 countries for a world where all people live in dignity and security. The Women's Empowerment Framework developed by CARE suggests that women's empowerment is a sum total of changes in the domains of agency, structure and relationship. Till recently, CARE India has been focusing more on empowering women on economic and social aspects as compared to empowerment on political sphere. The self-help group movement in India is nearly 2 decades old. Over the years, this movement has served in bringing under its fold a huge number of poor women in the rural areas. Media reports during the 2011 polls show that in many of the polling booths, the women voter turnout was higher than the male, and also 34% of the women who vote are in SHGs, self-help groups. This is a huge number and therefore of great significance in terms of community mobilization. These groups hold therefore a huge potential to make a difference at the grassroots. But what is happening in reality? Have the women been able to put forth their demands to the potential electoral candidates before an election or the elected representatives after the elections?
நீங்க யாருக்குங்க ஓட்டு போடுவீங்க?
எனக்கு தெரியாதுங்க. எங்க வீட்டுக்காரங்க யாருக்கு ஓட்டு போட சொல்றாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு தான் நான் ஓட்டு போடுவேன்.
ஓட்டு கேட்டு வர்ற தலைவருக்கு நீங்க உங்க ஊர் தேவைகளை எப்ப சொல்லிருக்கீங்களா?
இல்லைங்க. அப்படி எதுவும் கேட்டதும் இல்ல, சொன்னதும் இல்ல. அப்படி சொல்லணும்ன்ற விஷயமும் தெரியல.
Most women do not have the confidence to negotiate with prospective leaders on their needs. This is of course a reflection of a larger social problem where leaders are upper castes and usually men. Unless we are able to build this confidence through knowledge about their rights and enable them to build negotiation abilities, women will not be able to achieve in real terms the realization of citizenship rights as articulated and enshrined in our Indian Constitution. It is in this background, CARE India conceived a pilot initiative which will help women understand their voting rights and enhance their political participation. It aimed at building capacities of SHG women through structured training on voter rights, document the learning in terms of successes and failures, present the learning to the state election commissions of Tamil Nadu and Odisha. But how do we understand the training needs of women? Where do we start from? There is a need for us to be specific to the contexts of the geographies that CARE chose to work. Therefore, CARE India set up a research study in locations, namely Sri Mushnam, a town panchayat in Kadalur district of Tamil Nadu, while in Odisha it covered the rural areas of Turikela block of Bolangir district. The study brought out some interesting findings. Nearly 98% of women are unaware of simple electoral procedures like nota, change or inclusion of names in the voter list, etc. Less than 1/5 of the women had any orientation on political participation in Tamil Nadu, and this is even low in Odisha. 89% of respondents in Tamil Nadu and 67% in Odisha were unaware of the different schemes operating in their panchayats. Perhaps the context in Tamil Nadu being a town panchayat is the reason for the low awareness among women, despite literacy levels being higher. Keeping the research study as a base, Care India developed a training curriculum to build capacities of the women in order that some of the identified gaps could be addressed. Further, it identified potential leaders from SHGs and trained them through a structured curriculum using simple tools like flipbooks and posters. Nearly about 1,500 women were trained in Tamil Nadu and around 1,200 women trained in Odisha. Further, Panchayat Raj institution leaders in both areas were sensitized on the need for understanding gender issues, women priorities and inclusive growth. A face-to-face interaction was organized with PRI functionaries on one side and the trained women on the other. Surprisingly, this is the first time the women had such an opportunity to articulate and present their demands before the PRI leaders. The PRI leaders were also able to appreciate and understand the special needs of women and children and have decided to seek for such meetings in future.
இந்த கூட்டத்தில் பெண்கள் சுய முன்னேற்றம் பற்றியும் வாக்காளர் விழிப்புணர்வு பற்றியும் ஓட்டு சேர்க்கறது எப்படி ஓட்டு போடணும் வாக்குரிமை எப்படி முறையாக பயன்படுத்தணும் அப்படிங்கிறத பற்றியெல்லாம் ஒரு கலந்தாலோசனை கூட்டம் நடைபெற்றது. ஏறக்குறைய 120 சுயஉதவி குழுக்கள் ஸ்ரீமடத்தில் இயங்கிட்டு இருக்கு. எல்லாரும் இன்னைக்கு வந்திருந்தாங்க. எல்லா குழுக்களுடைய தலைவர்கள் அவங்களோட மெம்பர்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்திருந்தாங்க. இந்த கூட்டம் ரொம்ப பயனுள்ள முறையில் இருந்தது.
குழு மெம்பர்ஸுகளையும் வார்டு கவுன்சிலர் 2 பேரையும் கலந்துரையாடல் செஞ்சோம். அந்த செஞ்சதில் எங்களுக்கு எடுத்த முடிவு வந்து அடுத்த தேர்தலில் சிறந்த மாற்றம் இந்த பேரூராட்சியில் கண்டிப்பாக மாற்றம் வருங்கிறதுல வந்து நாங்கள் நம்பிக்கைப்படுறோம்.
All these field level experiences and trainings have motivated and led women to think of and appreciate the importance of better political participation.
இந்த மாதிரி பயிற்சிக்கு பெண்கள் ஆதரவு தெரிவிப்பாங்களான்னு நினைச்சேன். ஆனா நானே அசந்து போற அளவுக்கு பெண்கள் ஆர்வம் காட்டினாங்க.
இந்த பயிற்சி ஸ்ட்ரீம்ஸ் நம்ம டவுன் பஞ்சாயத்துல ஒரு பெரிய மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரணும்ன்றது உறுதி.
இந்த பயிற்சியில கலந்துக்கிட்டது மூலமா வார்டு மெம்பரா நிக்கணும்னு ஆசையா இருக்கு.
இனிமே என் உரிமையை விட்டு கொடுக்காம நான் கட்டாயமா அந்த பயிற்சியில பங்கெடுத்ததுனால நான் கட்டாயமா ஓட்டு போடுவேன்.
அடுத்த வார தேர்தலில் முதல்ல ஓட்டு போட போறோம். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்குங்க.
हमर सिवाटाला हमें वोट केंता कर देम भी नहीं जानथी केंता करी लांच नहीं करी भी वोट देवाटा भी नहीं जानथी हमें सब परिवर्तन नहीं करी हमर वोट नंबर रे हमर ना আছে कि नहीं कान सिविल बोला हमें जे 1 नंबर रे हमर वोट नंबर अछि कि 2 नंबर अछि जानबा लागि हमें जानि पर भी कम जानि फिरे भी हमें उठे अलगा लोग के देखै करथि
हमें सिखनु जे भल कैंडिडेट के भोट देले हमर गांव के आसी करी भल काम कबार करी पारबा लोग ने मिसी पारी करी रानी दीदी के साहाय्य करी पारबा.
There is a wide scope and need to innovate, integrating this new learning in other development projects too. A state-level dissemination workshop was convened at Chennai in January 2014, where stakeholders, including the Election Commission of Tamil Nadu, academia, NGOs and community, participated and deliberated on women's participation in political arena, exchanging each other's experiences.
Women in India has obtained their voting rights in 1921, but even today a vast majority of them are not exercising their voting rights as a matter of choice. Either there is an influence of men on them or there is a force of men on them. Care India very strongly believes that women as an electorate have a critical role in shaping and strengthening the governance by effectively participating in the electoral process and also women themselves monitoring the electoral process. The secondary data analysis shows that over 34% of the women in Tamil Nadu and 11% of the women in Odisha who have exercised their franchisee in the last local elections happen to be SHG members. The study also reveals that in a vast majority of the cases, women are not able to use their collective bargaining power to influence the electorate to have their needs and aspirations achieved. To change this premise, and also to build on the SHG members' knowledge and confidence about their rights and negotiation abilities, Care India initiated a pilot project to explore the gaps in knowledge, attitude and practice of the voting patterns of women as electorates in order to identify the variables which will contribute for shaping and strengthening the grassroots democracy.
Care India believes that it is a good beginning made and hopes that many more stakeholders and like-minded individuals and institutions will join and strengthen this further. Care India hopes that a day will come when women will not need any more reservations. They will be politically empowered and will participate in political processes as a matter of choice.